Beautiful morning. We had a little bit of, I wouldn't even call it rain last night, but a bit of drizzle. So you've got a sort of a fresh smell in the air. It should be good for tracking as well. A little pattern on the ground, so you can see anything after about 4 o'clock this morning will be easy to recognize. Otherwise, nice and not cold, but nice and fresh. And I believe it's going to be a beautiful day. There was just a great sense of tranquility the last few minutes, just sitting here. You could hear the grey lories calling. Always listening in the morning. Early morning, we heard lions roaring far south of here. I think too far for us, but possibly in the area. The guys are busy looking for them as well. Brent, Scott, and Stefan busy out tracking. HT is out there as well, also looking. There's potential for a few things already. So really looking forward to the morning. Brian, always nice to have you behind camera in control room. Will, Tara, Nikki, everyone there. Alex, guys, looking forward to today and looking forward to the next few days. And yeah, we're going to follow up on the leopard from last night. Now, I know you might say which leopard. We saw 4 different leopards yesterday, but I'm going to be heading over to see if Q has got any of that meat left, or if he's still in the area. Other leopards in the area, maybe Mvula was around, the big male, Q's father, if you missed yesterday's drive. He could be around still. He was on the hunt. So lots of things happening today. Looking forward to it, and I look forward to taking you around. My name is Peter Pretorius, and it's my pleasure to have you as my guest this morning. I think that's it for now. I think let's get moving. That's the most important part of a game drive. Cover some ground. Listen, look, see what information might be out there. Tracks, sounds, smells, gut feelings, all those things. I think it's a nothing. No, it's nothing. See, which I presume will just be a dugger boy or two, a lone bull or two. Up ahead, a couple of buffalo. There's a zebra track. That's nice. We've seen more leopard than zebra in the last many days. It'd be cool to see a zebra. Giraffe, some general game today would be great as well. And of course, it's Friday, the day before the weekend. We're looking forward to this weekend. We've got all game drives are special, but we do have 2 special game drives coming up. Looking forward to those. Saturday afternoon, 9 to 12 Eastern time, 6 to 9 Western time. That could be morning time for you guys. Equates to 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock our time, each with a fireside chat. It's going to be great drives. I'm sure there's going to be magic happening. That is one thing I know always happens on every drive. So looking forward to it. Lots of hyena tracks. They were obviously active here. There are a couple of buffalo bulls, as I said, dugger boys. Let's look at this guy. Getting a bit on in years, but he's still an impressive character, just looking at his physical bulk. Guys, but we're going to go straight to Stefan and them. They found something. Enjoy, and we'll see you in a bit.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sunrise Bushwalk with myself, Steph, and Scott. And right away, we've got Impala calling right where we are. We've come onto this open area this morning. Driving into the camp this morning, we found some lion tracks, and we think that there's some predators here. We've got something happening over here. So we're going to be sneaking into the bush over here and seeing what we can pick up. We're right in the middle of the action at the moment. So we're going to be careful. We're going to keep our eyes open. But without further ado, come along. We've got our hyena calling in the background. Tracks of lions. Lots happening. You would excuse me for not turning around too much to the camera, but it's always a good thing keeping your eyes peeled. We're in a place that's pretty open, so not too bad to walk. At least it's not thick bush where we're going. But nevertheless, there's enough hiding places out here for stuff. Now, a lot of you might think, what are we doing walking around in the bush? It's dangerous, but truth be told, this is how most of our animals are found. Following up on alarm calls, following up on tracks. We're coming up to a road. Still can't see anything. The impala have stopped alarm calling now. Even run away. Cross over the road. Got no tracks on the road here. Keeping a careful eye out on all the bush. Slightly overcast this morning. Lovely to walk around in the bush when it's overcast like this. Don't get as hot. Now, when we're walking around like we are, generally you want to try and keep wind direction in your face, but when you're following around on alarm calls of animals like we do, not necessary. For those of you new to the show, welcome firstly. Secondly, you will notice that I'm carrying a rifle. It's essentially just a piece of safety equipment that we use when we are far away from lodges, when we're far away from vehicles. The hope is that we never have to use it, but it's there if we do. This is Africa. We are predominantly looking for the big five. Dangerous to look for on foot. But I've been doing this for 16 years and this is my speciality, is walking around. That doesn't mean that just because we haven't found anything yet that something isn't here. There's a lot of places for things to hide. And what we're going to be doing is zigzagging through this area until we find a track. We know for sure what has caused these impala to alarm like they have. Myself and Scott. Scott and I have known one another for years, and he, apart from being on camera and gifted to that, is also a field guide with many years' experience on the bush. The two of us, we work together as a team, and we keep eyes open for one another while we're busy doing what we're doing. Very unique product, this walking around in the bush. I mean, we are live at the moment, and and highly mobile. Okay, we've got some Franklin calling. We're going to be making our way straight into that area. Okay, so Franklin, the bush has told us that something's there and has bothered them. We're going to be making our way straight to where they were.
Texan, I'm on handout, I'm not sure, but morning 4. Well guys, quite a morning, lots happening, and quite a start. Leopard with Stefan, Hayden is busy responding there. We're just checking up here, I'm coming up on Treehouse Dam, so I was just busy chatting to Texan there, he's one of the rangers at Voyatilla. Next Hess out there as well. Leopard out there, one. We're looking for a second leopard. It's we haven't had specific tracks yet, but I want to follow up quite soon on Q from last night. This is Treehouse Dam. Q, of course, when we left him last night, while he was walking off a bit, I think actually to come for a drink or something, but he still had food left up in the tree, so a good chance that he might be around. And then Brent just let us know where he was busy tracking up. He heard a leopard calling, a vocalization. Let's see, maybe one or two of you know what a leopard sounds like. There's a great way to describe it in all the books, and it's actually very, very close. Whereas you could say lion is roaring, or you should say lion is roaring when a lion roars, because it's a beautiful sound, it's a roaring sound. Leopards are more like a sawing sound. Sawing as in, you know, big saw through wood. Pretty close to what a leopard would sound like if you were sitting in the front of the jigger driving around, sawing into a microphone. But that's the sound you want to hear. Middle of the night is great, but it's best if you hear it early morning while you're out there looking around for them, because you know, there it is. Normally it'll be a dominant male, so I would be guessing a mvula in this case. Possibly a female as well, they also call, but the big males, the same as lions, they use that vocalization, they use that sound to let other leopard know, listen, I'm a mvula, I'm the big guy here, I am in my home range, I am in my territory, don't come and sort of scratch along where it's not your place to scratch kind of thing. So vocalization is very, very important for leopard as well. With lions, there's probably a wider range of use for it because they're socially, you know, more complex. What a lovely sound. Hearing those things, lion roaring, leopard, hyena, hippo at night, those are all fantastic sounds, you know, all the sounds that tell you that you are in Africa and there's big game out there. Speaking of big game, we're looking for them as always, as you know. We're going to continue on and look for that herd, the sound.
Foot guard. There we go. That's what was giving me. So welcome back. We just got a leopard going down the road. Let's go a little bit. See if we can show it to you. So definitely a leopard. See if I can show it to you. See if we can get her down the road here. There she's walking there. Here we go. So we're gonna call in the vehicles now, because to get any closer to her on foot is actually no go. She'll run away and then you won't be able to see her, so we're gonna go and see who's in the area. Fantastic, yeah. Anyone in the vicinity of Cutline come in? Hayden come in. So we got a leopard. Now the job is to back off and actually call vehicles in here. That's what we're doing. But she wasn't disturbed by us. We're gonna try get a vehicle in here. Hayden come in for Steph? Hayden come in for Steph? So what we're going to do, Hayden is closest to us. Hayden was closest to us. They're still pretty far away. But that is the way it is. We've come into this area, we found this leopard. And Hayden is on his way here. He's going to come as quickly as what he can. But while we're standing here and we're waiting for Hayden, we can take some questions from you. That's the beauty of what we're doing at the moment, is that you can hashtag your questions to SafariLIVE, or you can email questions at wildearth.tv, and myself and Scott will get it on the radio, and we can potentially answer some of your questions. Anything to do with how we found this animal today, or what made us go into that area. Copy that. If you wouldn't mind just letting Peter know that we're on the Triple M boundary with on the access road. So those of you who just joined the show, welcome to you this morning. Myself and Scott were we were tracking into an area. We were following up on some wild dog tracks, funnily enough. And next thing, the impala just went crazy around us. We actually thought it was the wild dog. I was expecting to find some wild dog on foot. And then we come to this road and bang, there's a leopard standing on the road, like right in front of us. So we managed to get her, which was a lucky thing for us. She was absolutely relaxed. We've now moved out of the area to give her enough time to do what she's doing. She was just walking along this road. I have no doubt that she's still on the road. Leopard are generally creatures of habit where they will like to walk on game paths and on roads. And it was a female leopard from the size of it. Don't know which one. We weren't close enough to identify which leopard it was. But now our job is to try and get Peter or Hayden in here. Hayden answered the radio a bit earlier. Peter's also in the area. He's making his way here as fast as possible. While we're here, I got all this adrenaline going through my body from tracking something and finding something like that. It's an awesome experience. And now I'm just calming myself down and getting myself back into the groove, the bush groove, so to say. Listening to the bush around us. Give me 1 second while I'm on the radio. I've got his audio. You can just come straight to the cut line from there. So, it would seem like Peter is close by. It's the wonders of this technology. You were on the bushwalkers, myself and Scott, in the middle of Djuma Private Game Reserve, situated in the northern end of the Sabi Sands, plugged into the Kruger National Park. We're very, very remote, and yet we can bring you live safaris. We're in contact with the radio and a greater guiding team, and we hopefully we can get one of the vehicles in here and they can take you into that cat. A bit of time is going by. She's creating distance even as we speak. As anything, leopard can move away and move into thick bush, but we weren't going to push her into that thick bush. We were moving out of pretty open bush. We're going down into thicker bush, and with Scott now crashing around in there, we stand a chance of chasing her away, and then it'd make it even more difficult to find her. But the good thing is that she was very relaxed when we left her. As you saw, she was just carried on walking down the road, looked over her shoulder at us saying, "Hey, I'm here, you there," and there's no danger involved whatsoever. It's not always the case. Leopard have got a reputation for hurting people from time to time, but generally it's when people are not really taking too much cognizance of their surroundings, and leopard get cornered, or leopard are wounded, or leopard are on a kill and you don't see that. So they do let you know, they growl at you. Copy that. He must just head towards the gate. I've got him on the boundary. I can actually see him. He can just head in the gate's direction. We've got visual of one of the vehicles. So we've got Pete coming in here. Looks like he's seen us. It has taken a bit of time for them to get here. We spread out in the morning. We have a coffee in the morning, and the three of us, Hayden, Peter, and myself, decide where we're going to be going. So our idea was to follow up in the one quadrant, and it just so happens that we were lucky. So we're going to be going over to Pete, who will then come towards us. Give me some time just to get him in here on the radio. Thank you for joining with me this morning, and I wish you luck. I hope you find her and have a much better view of her. Pete, you're welcome to. We've got your visual. Just keep on coming.
Welcome back this side, and as we said earlier, what an exciting morning. I don't want to get too excited yet, but going to something where you know you're going to find a leopard or a wild dog or something that you've been looking for is hugely exciting. Obviously, finding it on foot, as you could see earlier with Stefan out there, finding an animal on foot is just great. It's also often the need to do so, because to track something, the leopard don't really think about just using the road, although they often do, but you really have to track them and find them. So that's very exciting, and great also going in there and being able to get in there with the vehicle and I'll get close to them, see what they're up to. But that's the teamwork. It really is great. The guys are great trackers. Both Stefan and Scott, great experience. Also have the right mindset. If you're following big game, leopard, lion, ellies, those kind of things, in on foot, you need to have the quiet mind, the leaf on the water mind. So great to join these guys, and when you see two guys standing like this waiting for you, knowing there's good news, it's a nice feeling, especially when they are also good friends at the same time. So, howdy doody. Very good.
Good.
So that's what a smile looks like for a guy that just saw a leopard on foot.
Are you keeping up?
I'm very happy, bro. I'm about to see a leopard.
She crossed here probably 10 minutes ago now.
Okay.
Walking very relaxed straight down the road. So you should get her on the road, but she's probably heading towards that drainage line.
Okay. Young female, or small female.
Yeah.
I think it's Shadow. She looks a bit mousy, for lack of a better description. Ears are always like this.
She was a bit far away from her
tail.
Yeah, there was a leopard there, we think.
Cool, awesome.
Good luck.
Now, this is where we actually followed her in yesterday, and she left the young cub not far from in a drainage line, so she might be heading back. So
Good luck.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much. And I hope those wild dogs pop out. Texas them are following up towards Impala Plains.
Good stuff.
Right. Thanks, guys. Super exciting. Wild dogs, some in the area as well. It sounds like Shadow to me, and this is where after the drive yesterday morning we followed it in the afternoon. If you joined us for the drive, you might remember I was explaining that the youngster was left in sort of an area, and I'm hoping, it's not necessarily the case, but I'm hoping that that's where she's heading back to. So I think for now, rather than look for the track and try and catch up with her, I want to take a sort of a gut feeling guess and go straight towards where she'd left the youngster. See if we can't pick her up en route. It'd be great to see Shadow again. Let's go have a look. Alright. As I said, leopard actually do like using the road, so 10 minutes, I'm trying to think, it would have taken her about 10 minutes to get where I think she might be going. She might also just be hunting, so she could be zigzagging through the bush.
Okay.
Listen to the game drive there. Right. Okay, I don't see a track though. She hasn't walked on the road, so that's making me think perhaps not what I'm thinking. If that sentence made any sense. Thinking what I'm thinking. And what I'm thinking is that she came back to find the cub, but if she was coming back for the cub, she would likely have walked on the road there. She Might have fetched the cub during the night already. She hasn't walked here. Ah, there's a track, there's a track. Let me just see. No, but that is from yesterday. Oh, yes! There we go. And she's fetched him. Oh, guys, happy days. I think one of the best feelings in the world, it really is when you spot a leopard, that first millisecond when you realize I'm looking for one and now there is a leopard. It's like magic. It appears. Your mind conjures it up into reality and suddenly you're like, leopard! In this case, 2 of them. Awesome. Yo, Stefan, Scott, Brent, guys, thank you for finding her earlier. She's sneaking a little bit into Karula's area. Oh, but this is rad. And keep in mind, that cub has now been separated from her since late yesterday morning. So almost 24 hours. We're looking at about 20 hours separate. So I'm hoping for a little bit of play as well. Share, but it's also a pleasure to share. Ah, awesome. Look at that. Oh. Morning, over to the stations. Anyone that can copy? Good morning, guys. Any Aretusa stations that copy? Any stations in the west? Awesome, Liam. Thank you very much. I've got a lekker update for you. We've got Shadow and Mompimpan cruising down Parallel Road, close to the northern end of it, heading south. Great, copy that. Thank you. Oh, guys, I'm going to stop here because she's just gone into the left into this drainage line. There's the youngster now following in. I think they might be stalking each other a bit. Oh, yeah, he's busy stalking her. Let's just see. There she's coming up. Ooh, tricky terrain. I'm hoping they come back onto the road because that is very, very thick stuff they're going into. Okay, she's looking up into... No, I think they're just looking around. She was looking up into the tree there. What's she looking at? For a second there, I thought there might be a killer on, but I mean, that wouldn't make sense within the behavior we've seen. She's coming from the north, heading back here. So she's, as I mentioned earlier, pushing a little bit further into Karula's area. I mean, it's not Karula's territory as such. It's sort of call it that sort of grey overlap, if you want, the umbra of the 2 territories. Guys, you have to be so lucky. If we were 2 minutes later, they would have been in there already, and finding them then could have been quite a tricky one. Love it when the teamwork really plays out like this. What a perfect morning so far. Teamwork coming from our side, all the different cogs in the wheel that turn. It's been brilliant. Ooh, they're going into some rough terrain. Even on foot, you would be tricky to keep up with them. Well, impossible to keep up with them because they could just lose you if they want. But where are they going? I wonder. Guys, quick update. We're live at the moment as well. They've just turned straight east. That first big Skovanini you crossed, not the one with the drainage pipe under it, just the next one with the nice big, I think it's an ivory or something. They've just crossed straight east on the southern side of that bank, so heading towards Triple M. There's a buffalo as well in there, very thick. Yeah, guys, I'm going to try and keep visual. They've gone into, as I said, right southern bank of that Skovanini. It's Makulu Tamboti thicket there, but I'll try and stick with them, but they are currently heading east. This is about, well, they didn't give us a 4x4 for nothing. knob. Let's go there. Eish. So the thing what we're going to have to do. You see, you have to. And this is a big part of tracking and of we talk about the bush paper, all this information you read, which starts obviously with the headlines, the bold print, the front page, which is lion roaring, a big track on the road, a hyena running to chase something, those kind of things. But then you have to take the subtle things, the little alarm calls, the small track, the sort of intuition almost on some of the smaller things. And then the next level from that is using all the collective bits and pieces of information you've got. What we saw yesterday, the day before, what Stefan and them found earlier, where she was coming from, how she picked him up. You have to use all those bits, which are still fact. In other words, you're still using that as your background story, your sort of understanding of it. And then out of all of that, you must try and then use a bit of intuition, a bit of understanding, skill, experience plays a role, and just a good bit old luck and good gut feel. Combination of all those things, that's what really tells you the whole story in the end. And what I'm trying to get to is I'm going to pick up the pace. The way she was walking, she's coming from the north, she was walking straight here, across the road, I mean pretty much on the same tracks as yesterday, down the track, found the youngster on the road. Now if she was heading south, which is the way they were walking on the road, she would have continued doing so, but she didn't. She walked 30, 40 yards on the road and then turned 90 degrees to the east. So my feeling is she's going to follow that drainage line through to the next road and then maybe take that cub home. Sorry, home being the wrong word, but what I meant with home is I would feel that she maybe made a kill and has come to fetch the cub so that she can take him to the kill. So we want to make sure that we can stay on her and hopefully follow her all the way to where she might have a kill. If we lose her now, we might not find that kill, we might not see her for the next 2 days. So I want to follow up. In fact, I might even see where Brent and the guys are so we can try and keep up with her. It can be tricky in that drainage line, but let's try. All right, so I'm very excited, guys. I would love for it if there was another kill and we could stay on it. Brent, you guys copy? So I'm going to turn this radio on and off, so give me a second. Brent, Scott, you copy? Brent, Scott, Trevor, Stefan, you copy? All right, let's see. This is the drainage line coming up. There are hyena tracks. There's quite a lot of hyena tracks up and down here a bit. I wonder. What is she thinking about? This is the dip she was in. I'm hoping she pops out here somewhere. Good morning, Tracy. I think if I heard you correctly, you said you're from Victoria, Australia. Victoria, as opposed to Pretoria. Tracy, welcome on the drive, and great question. Just asking, what would the track of that cub look like? Sorry, I'm going to be not looking at you while I'm talking at the moment because somewhere near there's a leopard that hopefully will pop out. Tracy, you were just wondering, what does the cub's track look like relative to the mother's track? And I'll see if we get them walking down the road. I'll show you. That would be the best way to do it. But at this stage, they would be very close to the same, even though she's still bigger than him and heavier than him. He is a male, and they will get, he'll get much bigger than her. But at the moment already, his footprint should be very close to the same size as hers. Keeping in mind also that Shadow is not a particularly big leopard. She's I would say sort of average to even smaller than average, well not smaller than average, but she's at most average size for leopard in this area, so she's not very big. And yeah, their tracks would be very similar in size. All right, now I'm going to have to hope that you can see better.
A few drops.
Cool. of a very soft drizzle. Okay, guys, I want to just give an update to the game drives, but this is what I'm hoping. If it goes the way I think or hope it might, somewhere in there, I mean anywhere behind us even, but in this section here, I'm hoping sort of just in that spot. Let's see, maybe it happens just there. It would be great if a leopard and a cub comes walking out. It's going to update the game drives because obviously a couple more eyes and ears are always handy. Guys, just update on Mafazi Ingwe and Antoine. They've headed straight east along that Skovanin, which would be the first big Skovanin that you cross coming south on Parallel Road on the northern end. Haven't been able to follow, but waiting on Triple M to see if she pops out. I am a relatively patient person sometimes. And when you're hunting, which is sort of what we're doing now, trying to find this leopard again. You have to be patient, but I'm going to be a little bit mobile in my patience. Well, can't see anything yet. We're going to keep checking here. I'm going to be up and down a little bit, keep watching here. You're going to jump over to HT for a bit, see what he's up to. And if we just get the faintest idea of a leopard around, we'll get you back here. See you in a bit.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Safari Live. My name's Hayden Turner, and Andrew's with me this morning on camera. We're out cruising around Djuma and Arathusa Game Reserves here in the magnificent, world-famous Sabi Sands Game Reserves in South Africa. And if it's your first time with us aboard on Safari Live, welcome. Welcome to an amazing family of people and a great team that take us out here and broadcast live from the African bush. We're driving around this morning. It is a very, very interesting morning. Lots and lots of information on the radio. There's line tracks picked up. There is leopard, which Peter's on, I think, at the moment, and we've also got wild dog tracks on the reserve. So we're really trying to find them. Andrew just saw a vulture in a tree. I've just seen another one fly over there. We're going to go and check out a little bit of information in here in a second, folks. But I just wanted to give you also a bit of information about this weekend. This weekend, we're broadcasting live on Nat Geo Wild USA. Nat Geo Wild USA, 2 sunset drives on Saturday and Sunday night with a fireside chat at 5:30 each time. So we've got a half an hour fireside chat as well. So if you need more information, we'll probably push it through during the shows today and make sure you know as much as we can possibly get to you, and also on Facebook. And if you've got any questions, you can always throw them to us through Twitter or through Facebook. Through emails. And that brings me to, if you want to ask us any questions, you can send us a tweet to #SafariLive. That's #SafariLive. Or you can email us at questions@wilder.tv. So that's the ways you can get in contact with us. We'd love to have your questions and comments. It's fantastic that's what this is all about. The interactivity between us and you, and that's what makes this so unique at Safari Live. So we're just going to drive up here a little bit further and see if we can see some more vultures. But it's always a good sign, you know, those little tiny messages really from the bush that something's going on. And it can be as easy as seeing a couple of vultures in trees. Now, excuse me, the other thing, vultures need some really nice warm air to be able to soar. When it's a colder morning like it is this morning, 15 degrees C, about 57 Fahrenheit, you do find them roosting in trees a little bit longer than what you would normally on a warm morning. So that's something else we have to take into account. Right, the other thing I wanted to say was I wanted to wish Mr. Peter Pretorius and his wife Leishan a happy anniversary today, which is pretty fantastic news. So a big happy anniversary to Leishan and Pete for them. And one more little shout out for our AEP, our assistant producer Jess. It's her birthday today, so a big happy birthday to Jess as well. She's doing an amazing job and a great birthday for her. So we're going to move on. See what else we can pick up here. The great thing is when you get all that information through on the radio, there's line tracks on the other side of the reserve. There's a couple of people on them. Pete on leopard. We've got what I call the Bloodhound gang. Brent, Scott and Stefan. The Bloodhound gang are out, and they are just a force to be reckoned with when it comes to finding leopard in any tracks that they're given, or they pick up on, sorry. It's always quite extraordinary to see how quickly those three work together. They're a force to be reckoned with. We had a line kill here many years ago, moons ago, about 7 months ago. That's not that long. There's a big line activity here. But I do have a great memory of this spot.
Yeah, cover.
You might hear a little bit of radio traffic here on this handheld radio too, folks, which is some new digital radios that we're working with at the moment. So you might hear a little bit of traffic there, and you might see me talking to the Game Drive channel on this radio. I'm just looking along here. We did see vultures here. I'm going to do a big circle and go around the other side because Philemon's cut line goes up that way, and we might be able to, instead of crashing through the bush, we might do that. Now, we left Mvula walking off into the night last night hunting. He may have had a successful hunt last night. I'm sure he would have. He's an incredible cat, and he's very capable of still hunting every single time he needs to. He's a big boy. We left him. We had a couple of tries at small things like Steenbok and Nyala, but that wasn't successful for him last night. He went off into that thick bush, and I'm sure he did have success. We'll go and find out if there's anything coming out of that block as well. But there was so much information this morning. I'm looking away from camera all the time, folks, because I'm just trying to see where those vultures landed. It was somewhere over here. So lots of activity, lots of predator activity at the moment. I'm just looking at these tracks going up here. There's lots of, this is a hyena pathway down here. I don't know, Andrew, if you can see just on the road there and show everyone. It's a little bit hard in this light, folks, because the light is so flat that it doesn't give you any differentiation in the track. When you've got oblique light or the sun's shining and you've got an angle on it, you can pick up the track a lot easier. So it's not fantastic for looking at them on the camera, but I'll show them to you another time when there's better light. Excuse me. Pamela is at Juma Waterhole. She's one of our zoomies. Pamela, you've just seen hyena down at the Juma Waterhole or Viatella Waterhole. Juma down there. That could be an interesting point. Okay, what do we do? What do we do is the question. Let me just go up to the top of this road. This is where Q was last night, and I do want to just double check. And then we'll do a little loop, Pamela, and go down to that waterhole and see if there's any activity there. We just don't know what could be going on at the moment. There's so many different things. So many kills. 4 leopards yesterday.
We can get it.
4 leopards yesterday, which is pretty incredible. Absolutely amazing leopard day yesterday. Excuse me. Can you see those birds? Oh, there's one. Oh, no, it's not, sorry. Just, I thought it was a vulture, but it's not. There's definitely vultures landing on a tree over here somewhere. week, man?
Good, thank you. How's it by the English doing there?
Peter is on Ingwe. I think he's lost. It was Shadow and her cub over on Arethusa. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
But there's lots of tracks around. There's Wild Dog on coming down onto Viatella Access Road. Have you heard anything else?
Yeah. And I go back there.
Nothing. Pete came in here this morning, so he must have moved on.
Okay, we can try to see those dogs.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'm looking for them as well, Effie. So if you find, give us a call. What channel are you on?
Yeah, this is the Juma one because right now I'm talking to the guys by the Eastern Channel.
There's problems, huh?
Yeah, the road is not good.
Okay, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steffi. Have a great day, guys. So, folks, it was just a little exchange we have with Ephraim, who's a fantastic guide from Cheetah Plains, who always stops and gives us as much information. We share as much information as we can. And I think we're going to go down to Viatella Dam and have a little look. It's just a funny old morning. There's lots of talk, there's lots of tracks, but something will come up, I promise you. When I say I promise you something will come up. It might be a bird, but there will be something come up. Just want to give out some information. If anyone there is looking for information about what's happening on this weekend, I'll just say again, it's really the best way to find out all the information is on wildsafariLive.com. That's Nat Geo Wild's website for Safari Live, and all the information about the times and everything will be on there, and you'll be able to get that information there. So if you do have any problems, please contact us, of course. But I really say that that's the best place to get all the information about the times and when it's being shown on Nat Geo Wild USA on TV. It'll still be on broadcasting online, of course, but if you want to watch it on Nat Geo Wild USA, go and check out wildsafariLive.com. That website will give you all the information you need to know. Okay, well, lots of radio talk at the moment.
Go ahead. What's happened with those sponsor there? This sponsor, we can't book up most of where they're from. But there's some all over here. We're trying on a team that no calls are coming off this side. I don't know if they're close to the western way.
So this is what we have normally going in our ear, folks. So you can imagine all the information that we try and pick up. Just got a funny feeling. I don't know why I want to go down this road, but I want to go down this road. So let me see if that's going to... you just have a look down there for a second. Yeah. This is where the sort of wild dog tracks were coming in on Viatella Access Road and Zoe's Road, and now we're going down Rebecca's Road here, and this is going to take us back over that direction. You just don't know where wild dog are going to pop up, folks. They travel vast distances, and once they walk along these roads for a little bit, they only have to get a little bit of a scent or a bit of a hint that there might be impala or something in this bush, and they're gone, and they're in there. From Irwin in New Zealand. Hi Irwin, great to have you with us all the way from that beautiful land of the long white cloud there. It's a beautiful place, mate, and I've been to your country many times, being your neighbour when I was growing up. Owen, your question is about whether we see or we don't see many monkeys or baboons, or there's some nice buffalo just here. Just while we're talking about it, but just while we're looking at these buffalo, I'll answer your question, mate. Monkeys and baboons, we do see vervet monkeys quite a few times, but baboons have been. There's a bit of a love, or not a love-hate, but a relationship with humans, that baboons do cause a lot of problems on reserves with camps and things like that. So historically, baboons have had a little bit of a sort of not been such a welcome friend in camps, and they have been sort of shooed away quite a lot, and we don't see them very often here on the reserve, and that's a historical thing. That's not now, but when they do come through, it's quite incredible to see them feeding and moving along with a troop through the grassland. Vervet monkeys, we do see little troops of vervet monkeys going through vegetation, so if I do find some, I'll definitely stop for you. Your other question, half of the question, was, do we have a problem in open top vehicles? The answer to that is definitely no, mate. They don't come anywhere near us. They wouldn't dare come anywhere near us. There's a fear factor there, which is a really good thing, because as soon as you break that fear factor, that's when you start to have problems. You have a human-animal conflict situation come, and then that something has to be dealt with there. So it's not a good place to be. Always good to have that little barrier between us and animals, and an understanding. We just got a couple of a little bachelor herd, but thank you very much, Owen, for your question. Very interesting. Hi, guys.
Welcome back this side, and we haven't found the leopard, but other vehicles came to help us look for her, and in the process, and I just want to make sure, because there's different radios going on, and I don't want to preempt something that's not going to happen, but I think we can see wild dogs any second, pretty much in the same area, or close to the same area where the leopard disappeared. So I don't know this part of the reserve as well as Juma side, but if I understood the guys correctly, we should be close to there now. So hold on to the edge of your seat, so to speak. This is where Shadow went in just when we were driving now. This thick stuff on the left, she disappeared in there with her cub. Maybe that's why she turned. Maybe she smelled it. Oh, brilliant, guys. Awesome. That's probably what happened. She probably smelled the wild dogs. There's a slight breeze coming from that direction. If we'd only got another 100 yards. Oh! Guys, what a treat. What a treat. One of the most sought after wild animals to see in Africa. African hunting dog, or the African painted dog. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Oh, wait a second. Oh, guys, this is amazing. That's why the Ingwe turned. Guys, this is so awesome, and also it sort of fills the story in for us for the morning, because now we know why the leopard suddenly turned like that. They must have been walking along, minding their own business, and the next thing they knew there were wild dogs ahead, and they turned, which is why she went into the thick stuff. This is one of the most endangered large mammal species in Africa, so to see them is a true treat. And they've killed something, I'm not sure what it is, but they're finishing off quickly. 2, 4, 6 of them that I can see, 7. What did they, Bamba? That's awesome. Sarah, yes, we were just talking about how awesome it is to see wild dog. Yes, firstly, they are endangered, so not many left of them. Secondly, they cover massive areas. These guys, one wild dog pack can cover the same sort of home range as, 40 or 50 leopard even. They have massive, massive home ranges. So to see this is a treat. We've been very lucky. We saw them last week as well. So this is something that, you know, even the guides that live here day to day, the people that do this every day, when they see wild dogs, it is truly one of their highlights. All the lodges that saw them this morning, all the guides, all the guests, this is what they'll be talking about at breakfast today. This is what they'll talk about this afternoon when they have a cup of coffee before they go out for the next drive. And to see them like this as well, early morning, feeding, playing, interactive with each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I saw 8 now. And again, it just proves to you the pack aspect, or the working together aspect of the guides here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've just seen 9. I think it should be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I sound like I've got a counting issue here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. 9 dogs that I can see. And yeah, this is the business. Oh, fantastic. You can see that alert posture of the dog on the left. There's a buffalo just to our left, 10 yards away. Now, the dogs won't hunt a buffalo, but they do have to keep an eye on it. Buffalo seems to be unperturbed by them. Look at that. Pretty sure that this is a different pack of dogs from the ones we saw last year in November when we had those 2 spectacular kills. This one here looks like a male with a floppy ear. He would be definitely one that's easy to recognize. Sean, how many in this pack altogether? 13, okay. Yeah, I've gotten up to 11 was my last quick count now. And the name for them? Wild dog pack. Awesome. Great benefit. We're sitting not far from Sean, who's one of the great guides from Aratuza. Great experience, knows this pack well. He says they're 13 total. He's counted 12 so far. I've just counted 11, so definitely 12 dogs here. The 13th might still be around. What a treat. That's an adult impala male they've caught there. Yeah, that would be amazing, guys. If you could help us here, ewt.org.za. I know that's no context to what I was just talking about, but trying to figure out which dogs these are in the bigger picture, not just of the Sabi Sands, but the greater Kruger wild dog population, which are being studied. ewt.org.za. You go on there, and if you post pictures, any of these pictures you're getting, these dogs we can recognize. As I said, floppy ear, they would certainly be one that's easy to recognize for the guys that know them. But then also you look at the spots on the body, the sort of black marks on the tail, body patterns. They're all individual, fingerprints, so to speak. So those of you that are keen to help a bit, grab some good screenshots, and then send that through to the Endangered Wildlife Trust, ewt.org.za, and any good clear pictures would be good, but especially of the left-hand side of the animals. That's what they use as their main mug shot, if you want, or their main reference for IDing. I remember this last year in November, we had this amazing experience where we were driving and then suddenly we had a question and someone said, yeah, we're on the vehicle with you, but we work with, and I forgot his name, unfortunately, sorry, my memory is not that of an elephant. And they're ID'd. We got the numbers on the pack, where they're from, some interesting information behind them from the guys that are studying them. So left-hand shots with the dog on the right-hand side. Now, if you look, he's got a few interesting marks. Little white fleck on the backside there, I think, is a good one for IDing as well. Great, guys. Already we've got some ID potential here, saying it might be the half-tail pack. And I'm wondering if it's not referring to that dog on the left there. If you look very carefully, that guy, look at that. That's the same one with the floppy ears, but that tail is not a whole tail. It's a little bit shorter than a whole tail, so maybe that's where it comes from. We'll see if there's another one. I presume the half-tail pack would have at least one dog in with half a tail. Here's another. Oh, that's a beautiful one coming in now. Look at nice dark markings, dark face. Beautiful looking dog. And Marie just wondering, you were asking how many dogs in a pack on average. Anything from 5-6 dogs, although sort of 10-11 would be a good size pack, up to, it'll be interesting if someone can let us know what's the biggest pack that's ever been recorded. But I would guess, well, up to 15, 20, 25 dogs, especially when they've got lots of healthy pups, is quite, not unusual. And I would guess the biggest packs, and I don't know, 100 years ago maybe bigger, but I'm sure they could do quite well in packs of up to about 30 or 40 animals even. But let's say 10 to 25 would be a good one. And guys, just give me a shout if I need to make space. It's been a treat already. And give you a little bit of secret information. Don't tell anyone, because not everyone knows yet. But they've just found Shadow in the cub again as well, one of the other game drives. So luckily we found her earlier. Oh, look at that jump. Nice. Game drives came in, different guys working together. We're forming a pack of our own between the different rangers here. Found the wild dogs. Boom, found Shadow in the cub again as well. I'm hoping they're going to stay with her, because I would love to know where they're going to end up for the morning. We've got dogs running around, dogs eating, playing. Very social animals, wild dogs. They're like wolves, very similar. Pack animals, social interaction, playing, dominance behavior, all that is very important for them. Oh, wow. Jumped straight towards the car. That was beautiful. There's whitetails, very clear visual markings for them when they're running through the bush. I mean, now they're playing, but if they're busy hunting and in the excitement and chaos of a hunt, those whitetails are important following mechanisms. Lois, very important. Big pack animals like this. You were just asking about the rankings in the pack. And it is very important for them. Oh, what are they seeing? What are they looking at? Oh, maybe just that buffalo walking away. Those, yes, the ranking in the pack is very, very important. I wonder if that... he's got a full belly, that's it. You've got a structure which, first and foremost, alpha male, alpha female. So you have one dominant male, one dominant female. They will be the breeding animals. And they would also, most of the time, hunt or lead the hunt. Lead the pack in that sense. But then from there downwards, you've got lots of different hierarchies between the different individuals as well, and it's always being reaffirmed and retested, and sort of a lot of that sort of playful bickering, if you want. Most of it is sorted out quite peacefully. I mean, that's why they survive well in a pack. They don't have to fight for it every time. A lot of it is just done through the play and the interaction and grooming and all the different little sort of intricacies of social behavior, which us as humans certainly have learned a lot about over the last couple of 100 years, to the point that we can now live essentially as one sort of global pack in some ways. But very important with the dogs. You also have the lowest ranking dog in the pack, which has got quite an interesting role. And that is that they sort of help to diffuse some of the aggression and frustration in the group. Last station, sorry, I was standing by, Peter. Shop standing by. Just on the other road as well, so if you can't get hold of me straight away, you can just pull in. We're on parallel road, just off the edge of it. Us a little bit. Guys, are there still mobiles with Ingwe and the Mampimba? Liam. Okay, copy. Is there still mobile fambang with the Ingwe? Okay, copy. Brent, you guys, if you copy, they've left Shadow. She was heading east by that transformer into the Slatine. No one's with her. If anyone is in that area, a follow-up would be great. Look at that. Guys, let's make quickly let Texan know as well. Texan Lexi, guys, if you copy, just to update, they had Shadow and the Mantinto on the young male at the transformer on Triple M heading east in the Slatine. As far as I know, there's no one with the Ingwe now. If someone can or wants to follow up there. Big ears. Hearing is very important. When they're hunting in big packs, they often can't see each other. They'll be spread out over quite an area sometimes, some of them circling around. They've got great strategy as well when it comes to hunting. So hearing each other, very important. Those white-tailed flashes also helping to see each other. But very important that they be able to hear each other over a big distance as well.
Looks like a wild dog, by the way. Look at a hyena. It's an impala. It's a fully grown male impala.
Good question there. By catching your name right, it's Wolf. Fitting name for someone looking at wild dogs. Just wondering if these packs bumped into another pack, or if two packs met up along the way. I mean, met up would be a casual term for it, but good question. I mean, these guys would, again, mostly just avoid other packs because they cover such large areas. So the overlapping into home ranges would most of the time be without them knowing about it, or about knowing about each other. But if it was to happen, there would, I'm sure, be sometimes some fights around it. But again, with these animals, as within the pack, they're great at how shall we put it, non-confrontational violence, if that makes any sense. In other words, they can communicate a great deal of dominance or submissive behavior or even violent behavior without being
physical about that violence. So lots of chasing and yapping and sounds and playing and jumping and biting, but not with the intent to necessarily kill each other. Good question. I've actually never in my life seen two different packs interacting. Lisa, good morning. Going to make a little bit of space here for the other vehicle. They can get a good view as well. There we go. Now everyone's got a good view. Lisa, no pups around at the moment that I'm aware of. Certainly not in the direct vicinity of where we are. That is great, and what Lisa's asking there are about the pups, and they can have a lot of pups at one stage. Again, I don't know the most pups ever. In fact, I used to know now that I think about it, but I can't remember what it was. But they can have 8, 10, 12, 14 pups quite easily in one litter. So a pack can go from 5 dogs or 10 dogs to doubling that number in one successful litter. And they all help collectively to raise those pups, which is very interesting as well. In other words, the whole group, the whole pack, work together at raising the pups. In the beginning by bringing food back to the alpha female, and then later on bringing food back to those pups at the den site and regurgitating it for them. That's the other interesting thing, is they will eat food, swallow big chunks of it, run back to the den. Those pups would call for the food, beg for it, solicit the adults to give it to them, and then they would regurgitate that food for them. So they really are truly pack animals, not just in working together to hunt, but also in working together to share that food and to raise the young ones, to make sure that the pack survives, that the species goes on. Beautiful, all the colors just as they're moving around. Beiges, browns, whites, blacks. Just a conversation going on in Twitter there now about the dog's noise, the sounds they make. They don't bark like dogs do, like many of you I'm sure have dogs at home. It's not the same kind of bark. It's more the sort of high-end squealing, almost whistling sound sometimes. I'm sure you can hear it if you listen carefully. When they get very excited, that goes almost into a cackle. I mean, it can almost sound like a hyenas at a kill sometimes. Lots of excited sounds, but very high-pitched sounds, not deep barks like we get with dogs. That's a bit of dominance and dominating behavior going on there. This is not a male or female in estrus specifically, I think. No, in fact, that I couldn't see there if it was. Could have been male on male as well. You often get that as a dominance behavior where the one will mount the other one. It's just the voices you can hear around. If you've maybe just joined us for this drive, we've had a spectacular morning. Shadow and the cub, awesome leopard earlier, and then the wild dogs very close to the same area, not far from where we were looking for the leopard. A lot happening here, and also very excited people. So if you can hear other voices, we've got 2 other game drive vehicles with us enjoying the sighting. I must just talk to the game drives again quickly because my radio has been down. Station, so my radio has just been down. Any other movers standing by? I will gladly make space at the Madaj. Guys, my apologies. I thought someone would tell me. You must just tune me, guys, we're gonna... All right, I'll be pulling out in the next half a minute. Guys, we were really treated here. There are many vehicles that would love to see this. This is truly one of the highlights of being on safari. It's as great as seeing a leopard or as great as seeing a massive herd of buffalo going down to drink. So the guys have been very kind letting us in here. There are other vehicles. We're going to make space for them. Let them come and enjoy this as well. So we're going to move along, see if we can catch up with that leopard. Guys, thank you very much. Oh, there's a tree behind us. What a treat. What a treat. Let's find my way out here first before I talk myself into driving into a tree. Oh, what a morning. And this is where we left the leopard. We know that she's come out the game drive, saw her for a bit. She's disappeared again. Unfortunately, there was no one that could stay with her. But we are going to go look for her. I really hope we are going to find her again, because Shadow and the youngster, obviously a treat to see a leopard, and the cub would still be fitting, I guess. He's about 7 months old. So we are going to try and find her again. But big shouts out of thank you to all the guides there as well from the lodges for getting us into those dogs. And yeah, we're in the bush, we're on safari, you never know what's going to happen. Yet again, we have been surprised massively a few times already, and we are not even, what is it? It's an hour and a bit into drive, no? 6:37, yeah, hour and 15 minutes into drive. Amazing. Guys, just a big thank you again, and appreciate it. We're going to see if we can find Shadow and give you an update. Sorry, I'm just backing stuff up to hard drive, make space for new surprises. That was all sort of exciting succession there too. Yeah. Steph and them finding a leopard on foot, us finding a leopard again, leopard disappearing, boom, wild dogs, and now I'm hoping, I mean, it's about 15 minutes or so since the last sighting was had, or the last visual was had of Shadow. I'm going to take this little track. Trying to get hold of Liam. Liam again. Liam, can you just confirm for me that Ingwe, you said just south of the transformer heading due east? Liam again, huh? Okay guys, sorry if someone didn't pick up earlier. Just wanted to confirm that Ingwe and Mantuan that he had, if I got it right, he was south of the transformer heading east, is that right? Thank you very much, appreciate that. Southeast was the last direction. True leopard. Maybe she's taken to a kill, but she was coming from the northeast towards the cub, then cut due east. Now we know it was because of the, give you a little hand there. You've got a few drops in your eye there. Heading due east after that, but that was because of the wild dogs. How's that? There. Good. Alrighty, so I don't think, my gut feeling is that she's maybe not going to kill. She came from that side, found him, turned away because of the wild dog interference. That was obviously not planned. And then she's heading southeast. So a little bit of luck maybe. Hopefully find her one of the roads here. I know HT is also in the area looking. And we still have an awesome 2 hours of drive left. So, you know, anything can happen. Because you never know what's around the next corner. That is something that we have all learned over time. Thank you so much, guys. There's a chat on Twitter going on, and also the whole team here. It's much appreciated. It is something I'm very happy about and excited about. HT and myself this morning early over coffee were talking about, you know, HT's words. I think it's the greatest thing I ever did, and I have to agree with him. It's my anniversary today. I've been married 5 years today, and Leishan, if you're on drive with us at the moment, love you, and great to be able to say that. It's a very special thing. Marriage and family. And yeah, what a way to spend it. Other than them not being here, would have loved that. Maybe next time. But what an awesome morning for it. And thanks for the wishes. Much appreciated. Yeah, life is an amazing journey. It truly is. Looking for tracks now, as we are now sort of east, starting to move into the southeastern quadrant from where the leopard was last seen. So if she did pop out here, we might have a few tracks on the road. Impala Plains coming up. We're going to check Impala Plains. No. Tracks yet. Well, as I said earlier, HT is also in the area. The more eyes, the better. I think if you could jump on with him a little bit, please say hello. And if we find something this side, we'll get you back. Or if HT finds it, you can enjoy the leopard with him. We'll see you shortly again.
Folks, it's been a very exciting morning over there. That's beautiful stuff to see those wild dogs, and Pete with on that kill with those dogs. We've just been scooting around looking for other leopard, looking for Mvula as well. Not really sure where he has gone. Just constantly just checking, looking for tracks, and then listening to the radio as well. I just stopped here because this is an interesting zebra. This zebra here is a young stallion. And he's just grazing away on the verge of the road here on this more sort of tender grass, and there's something very interesting about his tail, as you can see. He's gotten on the other side of potentially attempted attack by a predator, or it could have been in a fight with another zebra. He could have lost a bit of it. You just don't know. But he's definitely got a very, very shiny tail there. And they use that tail a lot to swat flies. So the poor little guy's struggling a little bit there. But he's still alive, which is the most important thing. But grazing away on this beautiful sort of tender grass right on the edge of this road. And just up a little bit further is a wildebeest. And they often congregate together in much greater herds. But interesting just to see them here. We haven't seen many zebras lately, so I just thought we'd stop and have a quick look at him. You do hear a few beeps and a few little conversations going on our Game Drive channel if you've just joined us, folks, so you'll hear beeps and carry on, so please don't worry about that. It's just the radio going off like that. Okay, let's move on. He's a beautiful boy. Let's just see if we can get up a bit closer. He might let us just sit here close to him for a second. Hello, my boy. Okay. It's okay. Sometimes it's nice with animals just to pull up and let the engine run for a little bit and just get them used to you, and then button off when they've gotten used to the noise. He's very comfortable. So I've got a question from Sherry in Los Angeles. Sherry, welcome aboard and thanks for watching on Safari Live this morning. It's a good question, Sherry, about leopards. This zebra's still just grazing over here whilst we talk. Your question is that you've heard that leopards are the most elusive of all the cats. Well, that's very, very true. They are very elusive, and we don't see them as often, well, in some parts of Africa, because they're solitary, whereas lion prides are, they're quite big, sometimes up to, 15, 20 animals in a super pride. You can get even more up in East Africa. But the point of that is that you can normally see a lot more lion tracks. You normally see a greater mass of these cats. But the solitary cats are a little bit more tricky to find. They have been, over the years, and you'll probably know this, with most predators, all across the northern and southern hemisphere, when there's a human-animal conflict situation, where you've got animals taking farmers or livestock or humans for that matter, you will have a situation where the predator will be persecuted, undoubtedly persecuted, and be pushed away. They do over time start to get a very, very strong sense that humans are danger, so they will stay away. As soon as they see you, they'll run. You will get situations where lions or others may end up preying on humans in a situation in a rural community or something like that. Tigers, other big predators as well, which isn't fantastic, of course, but then you'll also have a human-animal conflict situation. In the Sabi Sands, what we have, and particularly where we are on Juma and Arathusa, your question is it because the animals have been habituated for a very, very long time to the vehicles and people? The answer is yes. There's been a lot of hard work that's gone into the habituation and the conditioning of the animals to show the animals that we are not dangerous. We are actually just here to observe. We learn about the distance to keep from the animals, and over time the animals accept us as part of the landscape. That's exactly what happens, and it's a fantastic question, Sherry, so thank you very, very much, and thanks for being with us this morning. It will go past. Good, thanks, mate. How are you? He's really, really comfortable with us, so I just thought we'd stop a little bit further. We just got another vehicle I wanted to let come up nice and close. Lovely markings on his legs there. Such a unique pattern on this animal. if you've got any questions, folks, please, you're more than welcome to fire a question off to us. If you want to tweet it to us at #SafariLive, or you can email us questions@wildearth.tv. More than welcome. You can see how those beautiful lips. This is a horse with stripes, folks. You can see all the similarities. It is in the same family as horses. It's just a magnificent wild horse, wild animal in the horse family that's got stripes. And what an incredible creature it is. All different stripe patterns, and there's different subspecies. There's the Grevy's zebra, which have got very, very tight patterns up in East Africa that don't have that shadow stripe that you can see on the rump. Oh, there, that's great. Thank you, Andrew. That shadow stripe is a great characteristic of the Birchells or the plain zebra. And then you've got the Grevy's zebra that doesn't have that stripe, very, very tight pattern. And then you've got the Hartman's mountain zebra as well, over in Namibia. Much more desert dwelling, don't congregate in such large groups, much more sort of around 10 to 14 animals and dispersed into the mountains there. So incredible creatures. There also used to be another wonderful creature called the quagga, which unfortunately died out or became extinct last century, but we've still got these wonderful creatures, luckily, and he is quite the comfortable stallion with us. I'm sure many of you know this anyway, but just for people that have joined us, or it might be your first safari, that coat pattern or those markings are individual to every animal. Every single animal has a different individual marking, and when the youngsters are born, the science has proved that the males, the babies or the foals will be shielded by the mother. Anyway, thank you. Is she? Sorry, excuse me, folks. Back into Juma or back into Arathusa? Did she? Okay. Yeah, we just came through there as well, mate. So, what channel are you on, mate? Okay. Yeah, the comms are tricky, with this new digital. Okay, man, thank you very much, Have a great morning, everyone. Good luck. Thank you, mate. We're just, it's always good to just talk to one of the guides that passes, fantastic guides from Arathusa, and just discussing where we're all struggling a little bit with the radio comms and listening to what's going on. So I think Peter's looking for Shadow and her cub. They did cross back into Juma, and we'll keep our eyes open. These guys have been looking around exactly the same area that we've been looking around, so she could be anywhere in this block in here. We're going to take a left in here anyway and see what we can see. But I'm sorry, just to finish that little bit about the zebra, before we had to quickly chat to the guides there. What will happen is the mother will shield the foal from the rest of the herd for a good 24, 36 hours to try and imprint that marking, the mother's marking, on the baby or the foal's mind. It's an interesting bit of information that's been picked up over some scientific sort of not experiments, but some studies that have been done, and it seems to be what really does happen. I'm sure it doesn't happen perfectly every time, because when you do get the massive migration herds, it'll be really tricky, but they seem to have success with it. You very rarely see a zebra foal off by itself without its mother. So there's something going right there, and we're never going to understand everything, folks, until we speak zebra.
Is continuing. We just spotted something off through the thick stuff there. Let me try and show you what we saw. Oh, you can actually just see it. Never would have spotted that if we weren't looking in the area already. But look right there.
Just there. But I tell you what, we're going to get closer. Guys, updates. Mododa Ingwe is still on the bumper. Philemon Scotland. Hey, hey. This is a good morning. Switch off. On to radio. Guys, if anyone's responding to the English sighting, Andrew, you guys, when you get the visual, you can just pull in. Andrew again.
Everyone's around? Humble. That's strange because somebody up there that is not equal to it. Yeah, there.
Hey guys, I'm going to turn my radio down just now, but just to confirm, you'll have an easy visual of our Mova from Philemon Scotland. You can just pull in when you get me visual. Oh, wow. He's eating a bit upside down there. Now, if you've maybe missed a few drives over the last couple of days, this has been a sort of unfolding story. And it's been a great story. Started with finding these guys on foot. Brent, Scott, Stefan. One of these guys, this guy, Quarantine, the male leopard. He killed a young but adult female kudu, which is a very impressive kill for him. Probably about 3 times or more his own body weight. And then the whole drama ensued from that. Dahina stole most of it. He kept some of it, which is what he's eating at the moment. He's moved it. He's had it up a couple of different trees. We sat with him last night for a beautiful, probably hour and a half or so. And now he's having another meal. Wish I could say that looks tasty. Feels like he might feel the same. I think it's... Can't quite see if it's a bit of a hair or something, but it seems to be stuck in his teeth. That's actually quite funny. The benefit, of course, of keeping the food up in the tree like that is that he's managed to keep it through the night. The hyenas would have definitely been past here again. In fact, I can see a hyena track just where I'm sitting with a vehicle at the moment. So having it up in the tree means they couldn't take it, means he's got another day of eating from that kill. So he's actually got a pretty good run from that kill. And this is the 3rd day now on it. It's down to mostly the skin now, so he's actually eating some of that sort of sinewy bits of it. But yeah, it's good to see. Not only that he's killed a big prey species, it's always a good thing for a young leopard, knowing that he can take down larger prey, but also that he's got the ability and the experience now to make sure that he gets good use from it. He doesn't just lose the carcass quite quickly to other predators. So it's gives nice confidence to see that this guy's future is looking good. Lorena is commenting on those beautiful whiskers. Now, leopard have got probably the most spectacular whiskers of the big cats. They really do stand out in more than one way.
Rena's just asking if they would help the leopard sense danger. I mean, my basic answer would be not sensing danger as such, but it would certainly help the leopard be in tune with his surroundings under sort of exciting moments, if you want, especially during hunting. Those whiskers play a big role. There you can see them. Look at how wide they are. Beautiful wide whiskers, much wider than the head, even wider than the shoulders or the rest of the body. So that's key for them when they're busy stalking something and they're moving really slowly. It can take seconds or minutes sometimes just to move 1 foot. And if it's pitch dark and there's no light, those whiskers can actually feel its way through the bush. And then I guess you could say that those whiskers would help the animal sense when the danger is gone. And what I mean with that, Rena, is that when they grab whatever they're hunting by the throat, let's say a bushbuck or an impala, something with horns, a warthog, something that can actually not only injure but even kill leopard. Leopards have been killed by prey species, bushbuck and warthog probably being the two main ones up there. Those whiskers are touching the skin or the throat of the animal as they're suffocating them, and when the heartbeat stops, when the bushbuck or the warthog become a carcass, that moment when the life ends, the whiskers can feel the heartbeat stopping. So you could say that the whiskers help the animal sense when the danger of the prey is gone, if you sort of follow what I'm trying to say there, Rena. But very sensitive, both in terms of the leopard knowing where he's moving through, but also very important use of it is to tell when the prey has died. This is something that often has people curious or has people interested, and that's the fact that this meat is obviously not fresh anymore. In fact, it is properly rotten by now. It's now 2 days later. It's been relatively hot in the day. It's been quite moist as well. Lots of humidity, so it's been rotting along nicely is what I mean. Catherine, you were just wondering, how is it that animals can eat that? I made the comparison the other day of all the things we can eat as humans and survive with that. If we had to feed about 95% of things that we eat to a leopard or a monkey, they wouldn't last too long. So it's just about being adapted to your different diets. For your predators, leopard, lion, hyena, wild dog, that's what they eat. That's no problem for them. Now, to me and you, it might not seem very pleasant, or we even know that it might not be good for us, but for them that's no problem. Their stomachs are very differently designed from ours, and is designed or has evolved to be able to digest meat of any age or condition. There am I. Thought I had a vehicle. I'm sure there's someone that wants to come have a look as well. I'm just going to give the game drivers an update. I switched my radio off earlier. Guys, my radio's been done. Just to confirm, if anyone should join the Ingwe sighting, Philemon's cut line, just keep coming towards Philemon's dip direction from where the bomber was in the beginning. You will see my mover off to the eastern side. You can just pull in. mobile looking for the ingwe. I can hear a mova come in. Guy stationed with the ingwe. If you can copy me, Philemon's Cutline. Just drive on Philemon's Cutline itself heading north. In other words, from towards Philemon's dip side. You will see my mova off to the eastern side. Yes, I can hear a car. I can't see one, but I think they're looking for us. Very well noticed there, Anna Marie. I was actually going to mention it and then something else caught my attention, but if you look very carefully, you'll see it again just now. There you can see it. Anna Marie is asking, why is the leopard licking the meat so much? It's partly because most of it, or a lot of it's finished now, so it's not that easy just to cut sections of meat off using those side teeth, the carnassial shears. It's now got to get down to the meat that's still on the bones, to the meat that's on the inside of the skin. And leopard, like other cats, they've got very, very rough, almost like sandpaper-like tongues. If you have a house cat and you've felt a tongue before, it's quite rough like that. So it's like that, just sort of times, 50. And that is for licking or lapping up water. It's one of the practical sort of reasons for it. But just as importantly, it allows them to get hold of those little bits of meat that they wouldn't be able to get hold of with the teeth. There you can see it. Look at that. Perfect. Exactly what you were asking about. So the leopard is actually getting hold of the food with his tongue. There's a hyena. Not too much to worry about for the leopard, but there is a hyena approaching just here off to our left through the undergrowth. Coming to have a look, see if there's any scraps fallen down. Obviously smelling the carcass. This hyena wasn't here before. You can see it didn't walk straight here. It was actually following the scent. Now it's looking up at the tree thinking, no, I'm a hyena, I can't climb up there. But experience has told them that if you sit around for a bit, something might drop down, might find something that I can eat. There you can see, awesome. The leopard's relaxed. He knows that he's got his food up in a good place. Nothing to worry about. Ephraim again.
2.
Ephraim again. Sorry guys, the camera's just going right past there. Ephraim again. Guys are looking for us, but they just drove right past. Sorry about that, but these are the same guys that help us find other things again, so we work together. Ephraim again. This is not one of the biggest hyenas in that clan. Guys, just again to put it into perspective, we are not far away from the hyena den. We're looking at about 600, 700 meters, less than a kilometer, half a mile, maybe a little bit more than half a mile. Hello, Jan, and great awareness there. It's mentioning the bird calls. One of the calls you can hear is a puffback shrike, very well ID'd. Can't mimic it perfectly, but sounds about like that. And then I haven't specifically noticed myself, but very, very possible that you heard a brown-headed parrot. It's difficult for me to always hear all the bird calls. You actually have a better position where you're sitting to hear the birds than I do. Whoa, there's a... What was that? Looks like a tawny eagle that just flew past here. Look at that. Stunning setting as well. I mean, the leopard itself, obviously beautiful, but also the whole... What's the word? Setting around it, for lack of a better description at the moment. Big, wide branches, heavy branches from this marula tree. Perfect tree for a leopard to sit in. Love that composition as well, for those of you that enjoy the photography aspect of this. Love the shapes in this. The branch at the bottom or the branch at the top, the shapes, branch going into the background. And also almost the dappled color, if you want, of the tree itself. The leopard just having a look at the hyena. I'd expect that this leopard will finish off this carcass or this food during the course of today. I think by this afternoon, tonight, this leopard will be done with it. I'm hoping that Q decides to go and spend a bit of time around Treehouse Dam, maybe by this afternoon. That's the closest water. Also, the quarantine area that is named after Gowrie Waterhole down to Wetella Lodge, also not that far away. So I'm hoping that he's going to stick around.
Trignoni, just south of Second Rock.
Well, we have a curious mind asking a curious question, and I believe you on Twitter referred to as curious. Guys, it's always nice for us to get first names. My name is Peter Pretorius, if you're new on the drive, and we answer your questions. It's also good to know where you're from, but lovely to know your first name. The question there is just that you're curious whether Kunuma, who's the brother to this leopard, the guy we're looking at now is called Q. He's got a brother, same age, obviously 2.5 years, whether he's maybe started his journey into adulthood, which the next step for that journey is to leave the area. It certainly is possible. We've had some reports that he's been seen further to the south by the guys from Aretusa. And yeah, I haven't actually thought of that, but it is imminent. It might happen any day. We said so the other week. It could be in the next day or two. It could be in the next week or two, but it's not going to be in the next few months. It will be sooner than that. So that is certainly a possibility. I hope not. I would love to see Kunuma once more in the next couple of days. We've got a little bit of a sort of a happy banter going on about it, but this is, I mean, any leopard is my favorite leopard because they're all stunning. But Kunuma, the brother to this guy, is probably my favorite, and I know that this is HT's favorite. He's had his first sighting here at Juma back last year was of this guy. So you do develop a little bit of a sort of a soft spot for certain of the individuals, as I know many of you know. So I hope that Kunuma hasn't moved off again. But Mvula's been around. Mvula was seen last night, that big male leopard that Hayden had, who's the father of this male and his brother. But it is also that stage where he will start putting pressure on them. So I hope that Kunuma is still around, but he might have moved on again. It's a very, very valid point. Well thought, well asked. And this is what leopards do. All cats are great at keeping themselves clean. All animals, in fact. You have to keep yourself clean so you can stay healthy. But leopard are right to the top of that list when it comes to keeping themselves very, very clean, very tidy. And you can see this one at the moment, even though we can't see it. Busy grooming himself, cleaning the nails, cleaning the paws. They will use the paws to clean the face. So using the tongue and the paws in a combination, they will clean their whole body. Ugh, they're beautiful. Look at it, and it's like, this is what I remember from this time around being a Juma. It's just obviously stunning leopard, and also at an age where they're really beautiful. But I find myself so often just sitting here going, this is amazing. I'm sitting with a leopard right here in front of me. Hyena just sort of taking it easy, hoping for a scrap or two that might drop down. But this kind of thing where you're sitting, I mean, look at this. We're right here by this leopard. This is something that, there's the hyena. Can't see him well, but it's just there. Here's the leopard. I mean, you could literally almost grab him. It's something that, oh, it still makes me feel like this, just to experience it. But yeah, this is the sort of the postcard setting for seeing a leopard. Well, good question there. I'm going to answer it for you very shortly, Shanae. Look at that heavy tail as well. This is a perfect view of the leopard's tail. Leopards have got quite heavy muscle tails compared to other cats. Because they're so good at climbing trees and so often do, that tail will help to balance them or counterbalance them while they're climbing around. So the tail is very important as a balancing tool, obviously also for communication amongst the leopards, and even for sometimes touching each other. You can see how they touch each other using the tails. Shanae is just asking about the tree itself. Now, this is a beautiful big marula tree, but it is autumn now, not that many leaves on it, and you were just wondering if it's not open enough for vultures to get in there. Certainly it would be possible, although most big vultures, keep in mind, let me put this into context for you. That leopard would be, give or take, about 1 meter nose to tail. So that distance from there to there would be the equivalent of one wing of a big vulture. So if a vulture was sitting here with the wings open, it would be the width of that entire branch. So difficult for them to get in there. Some of your smaller vultures, the hooded vulture, for instance, they can get in there a little bit. Wahlberg's eagles are good at that as well. But keep in mind, there's a leopard right there as well. So vulture's not just going to sort of fly in there. Maybe once he's left, then there'll be a couple of the smaller vultures getting in there. They might drop the carcass down, giving access for the other ones on the ground. Hyena may be waiting around for it. So the story is not finished. Everything gets used in the end. And if the vultures don't get to it and the hyenas don't get to it, the flies and the insects and the ants will make the most of it. All clean, all groomed. From the nose to the toes, all is clean. So that means a little bit of sleep time. He's just not quite finding the exact comfortable position yet. Let's see if he finds it. We might move a bit, but I think he's actually going to sleep now. Not just be lazy. I think he's going to sleep a bit. If he can get comfortable, of course. I believe a few people are talking about this in Twitter mainly. Guys, remember, if you want to ask something or mention something or even just leave a comment, you can do so by emailing at questions@wildearth.tv, or Twitter feed is nice. It's like a conversation. There are different people that can give you information even within the conversation. For tweeting, #SafariLIVE. And please remember, if you have a specific question, in other words, if you specifically want to ask something, we do try and answer as many questions as we can, especially questions that are relevant to what is going on and what we're experiencing. But it's always nice to have your real name when we talk to each other. But one of the sort of conversations going on at the moment is, how long will this leopard stick around? The hyena's decided that's it. That food's not going to fall out. The leopard's falling asleep. I'm going to go home. I love hyenas. There's something so, I don't know. I'm not eloquent enough to describe what I'm trying to say now, but they sort of don't really care, and they're sort of happy to just change their mind if they change their mind. You know, it's sort of like I don't know, sort of like the happy surfer dude kind of approach to life sometimes with hyenas. I quite like that about them. But coming back to the leopard, how long will it be before he kills again? Or how long can he go now from this food? Now, keep in mind, it's been 2 days, 48, give it actually a bit more already, going into 3 days that he's been eating this. So he's really had a good opportunity to fill his stomach a few times. And he could go now a week without eating, comfortably. But most likely, this afternoon, tonight, he might make a bit of effort to hunt again. And if he gets a good opportunity, he'll take it. But if I had to sort of give a sort of an average statistic for it, I would say that in the next 2 to 4 nights, he should make another kill again. 2 to 5 nights. So it's Friday today, maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. Here by Monday, Tuesday, he'll be making full efforts again to hunt. But for now, a good sleep is in order. Colleen, this is an excellent question. It's a question that I like answering, and I like it when people think about it. Colleen is just, you're just wondering, do hyena ever hunt on their own? And hyenas are actually very good hunters. I think for many reasons which we're not going to go into now, but there's often a bit of a misconception or misperception of hyena. They are very good hunters. As social animals, they can hunt in packs, similar to what wild dogs do. And a lot of the stories, they make the good bad guys for a story. Now, if you look at anything from Lion King to many documentaries, lions make good guys, and hyenas make good bad guys. And it's often portrayed like that. But there are areas, I know in the Delta there was an area for a while where the guys studying the predator interactive relationship, they noticed that the hyenas were actually making more kills than the lions, and the lions were then scavenging off that again. So it does also happen the other way around. But the main competition is often or normally would be between hyenas and lions. One of the greatest documentaries ever, I think, the story being told, which was called Eternal Enemies. I think, if I remember correctly, it was done by the Beverly and Derek Joubert. Amazing filmmakers, great people as well. And that sort of told that story. But point is, Colleen, is that they can hunt for themselves. In Sabi Sands, however, because there's so many predators, leopard, lion, wild dogs, most of the time we experience or see hyena other than at the dens, or we're just sort of finding when they're walking around looking for food, is at carcasses. When they hunt themselves, it will be almost always at night, and similar to wild dogs, when they've made the kill, they will eat most of it and be done with it. So it's also just a sort of opportunity for us to see it is much less. Lions and leopard often hunt early morning, late afternoon, where hyenas are only getting active then. They hunt more at night as well. So it will also just be less opportunity for us to see it. I wonder what the rest of the morning is going to bring. Stefan and them still looking around and tracking around. Not sure where HT is at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe feels like coming to have a look at this guy towards the end of the drive as well, seeing as it is his favorite leopard, and seeing that it is in a beautiful tree. We'll chat to him in a bit, see what he's up to. That's a happy leopard. Perfect tree. He's found his comfortable position in it. Doesn't have to worry about any other predators being around because he is safe up there. Good day to be a leopard for this guy. And he is actually dozing off. His eyes are just open, but you can see those sort of long, slow blinks. We all know the feeling. What a great setting. I imagine if you're just driving through here or walking through here, even better. You might be walking here, and I think you could agree that you could easily not see that. Perfectly camouflaged, lying still like that. You could be walking close past and not even see it. So it's always, always, always very good to keep your eyes wide open when you're walking. Also keep in mind your senses are really alive when you're on foot because you know that you're in touch with everything. So from the smallest track to the biggest animal, you have to look out for them and be aware of them, all the sounds, all the sights. And I think you're going to experience some of that now. You're going to get on foot with Stefan and enjoy that. He's got a few interesting things to tell you. There's always something interesting in the bush around you. And we're going to sit here for a bit and see what the rest of the drive brings us. Enjoy it for Stefan. See you just now.
Well, welcome back to the Sunrise Bushwalk with myself, Stefan, and Scott. We've moved out of the area of where we found that female leopard, and from what I hear on the radio, you've been having a fantastic morning so far with Hayden and Peter. But we've come into this area now and we've been tracking a big male leopard. We don't know what male leopard it is, but it definitely is in Mvula's territory. And it's hard to mistake his track with another full-grown male leopard. It's an enormous track. Where we are right now in the bush, we don't have any tracks. His tracks came off of a path and are leading in this direction, but we're going to follow some logic that we've developed over the years. Big male leopard of the size that Mvula is and of the size of this male leopard is quite often move from termite mound to termite mound. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going and doing exactly the same thing. We'll be moving from termite mound to termite mound in the direction that the last tracks went in, and we're going to see if we can pick up anything. Right.
Well, back from the walk. Quick hello there. Tricky sometimes the walk in terms of technical things, so glad we could get back to you quick. Sorry, I'm looking at Ahina. Just as I'm speaking, I saw this movement. I was going to say glad to get you back here, but there's Ahina in the back here. Just walking, different Ahina from the one earlier. Definitely a different Ahina. Bigger, fuller belly, older as well. The one that was with us a few minutes ago was definitely a bit younger. And again, this hyena I don't think has seen this leopard. We just spoke about this. Yeah, this one has not seen it yet. So I was listening to the game drive radios there, but this hyena is still looking around. I know it's a bit tricky here, the thick bush, but has not seen the leopard yet, so it's just picked up on the scent. But that's my point exactly. Here's our hyena. It's got better sense of smell, better eyesight, better hearing than we do, and yet it walked past within 20 yards of a leopard riding in the tree without seeing it. It just shows you again, always be alert, always be aware in the bush, and even more so when you're on foot. It's one of the great things about walking. It's just that heightened sensitivity to surroundings. That hyena is coming right in towards us now. I'm going to wait for it to come out behind those branches, but straight line between us and the hyena. A little bit up from that line, you've got a leopard sitting in the tree, right in close proximity to each other here. The hyena still hasn't seen the leopard. There's the leopard. Smelling it, the hyena knows there's something, but doesn't know where. Just off to the side, you know. That side there. But even that height, if you look at, we had two males, Mishon and Duna, also young males from Karula, and one of them had the tail tip snipped off, so the tail hanging there, the hyena jumped and grabbed the tail tip and just plucked it off the sort of last inch or so. So they have to be alert. All right, well, just try and see that hyena. Yeah, can't see much of it. It's right behind the bush from it, but I can see a little bit from where I'm sitting. The hyena is actually lying flat down now in the little hollow there, so deciding just to take it easy, wait it out, see what happens. Maybe something drops out of the tree. I still don't think that hyena has actually seen the leopard, but they all seem pretty relaxed, settling down for the morning. If anything happens, we're going to get you back here, but for now we can get you back with Stefan on the ground, so enjoy being on foot.
Welcome back to the bushwalk, folks, and terribly sorry about cutting away from us like that. Isn't it amazing that we can be on a walk in the middle of the Kruger National Park where we are at the moment at Djuma Private Game Reserve, and you can be joining us, but things aren't always perfect, and with the equipment that we've got, we sometimes lose you, and thank you very much for your patience though. So while we were walking through here, we're tracking a male leopard this morning, just for those of you who have just joined us, and we've moved into the bush a bit deeper from where you just lost us. And now we're just going to take some time to stop and listen to the bush around us. I have heard a squirrel calling just off to my right-hand side. We're going to give some time to that squirrel. They sometimes call for nothing more than their shadows. So we're going to see if it picks up in intensity. And while we're doing that, I'm going to try really hard to show you the home of a jumping spider. Now, jumping spiders, or the salticids, are perfect fly hunters. And this is the home of one. And if you look very carefully inside there, you'll actually see him or her living inside there. We're going to try and get it close for you. It is difficult. But we're going to see if we can get it for you. And you'll have a look at the little eyes. You'll notice that the eyes jump out at you as soon as it's inside. It's a little jumping spider that's inside there. The home. Now, he or she has made their house by pulling these grass together and then spinning it up with some silk, and she'll live inside there, and from this home will be hunting flies. So I hope you got to see that. It is a difficult thing to get, but in any case, we're going to carry on. We're going to go towards where we heard that squirrel calling, and we're going to see what else is there. We've got a lot of elephant sign, as you can see over there. It's fairly fresh. Elephant have been frequenting this area. It's not from today or yesterday, but I'm seeing variety of different ages of dung around. It's a good thing to keep your eye open here in an area like this for elephant. You don't want to bump into an elephant herd on foot. They're one of the more dangerous things to get. I'll show you what we're standing by here just to listen some more. This is where that squirrel was calling from. And while we're doing that, I just want to show you where these elephants have been digging out the roots of this tree. It's a combretum, and they enjoy eating combretum roots. Now, as we move into the dry season, elephants will go from eating mainly grass, looking at 70% or so of their diet made up of grass in the summertime to about 70%, 80% of their diet made up of grass in wintertime. And this elephant has dug out a root and then walked off into the shade to eat it. And as you can see, not the entire root is eaten, just the root bark is eaten. That's where most of the nutrients of the root is kept. I've only really seen elephant utilize entire roots when the root itself has got a lot of water in it. This one obviously doesn't, but it does hold some nutritional value. And the elephant would have put it into its mouth and then using its molars in a rolling action would have stripped off all the bark of the root. And as you can see, gave it a good chew as well, just to loosen up those last few. But very effective. There's not a little bit of root left on this bark left on this entire root. Incredible. Let's carry on. So following our logic from a bit earlier, we want to try and head from termite mound to termite mound. We've just passed one where the squirrel was making a call. I can see another termite mound in the distance. That one's a bit small though. We're going to carry on in this direction. Basically just following the vector of where these tracks were last leading us. There's a nice big tree in the distance. Looks like something that a leopard might go and sit under. All the time, just scanning the bush around us, making sure that we're looking far, middle, and near. So, Ellen, we have a question from you in Arkansas. Firstly, welcome, and I'm glad that I can help you answer it. The question is, how is it different to us walking on foot with a leopard to a vehicle? It's quite a complex answer, that. But basically, in a nutshell, the comfort zones see us as a threat. In a vehicle, for the last 60 years or so, man has done nothing except for just watch these animals, taking some photos with a camera. And so animals' comfort zones of the vehicle shrink. They're a lot more tolerant of vehicles. We haven't been in, it's thousands of generations of persecution by man, and has led animals to have a natural mistrust. One of the Earth's most successful predators. And because of that, we have a reputation for being quite nasty. However, in a reserve like this, where we don't do any hunting, where there's no hunting and there hasn't been any hunting of animals for a long time, I have seen that the comfort zones of animals have started to shrink. And we can start experiencing animals on foot. It's not uncommon, just like this morning, for us to view a leopard on foot and then follow it a little bit down the road with the animal virtually relaxed and carrying on with its day. That, 20, 25 years ago was unheard of. You just saw flashes of color through the bush, and that was it, unless you were, of course, cornering a leopard or you got it stuck in a tight place, in which case it can get quite dangerous. But, the short answer is, as long as you maintain that respect of an animal's space, there's not much difference to an animal on foot or an animal in the vehicle. You can just get a lot closer in the vehicle. Animals trust vehicles a lot more than they trust people on foot. But what I did want to show you here is I found, as I was walking past this log, an egg case. So I found it in the broken down piece of the stump.
And from the shape, I can only say that it's a monitor lizard, a type of a very big type of lizard. For those of you around the world familiar with the Komodo dragons, it looks like a mini Komodo dragon. This is probably from the white-throated or bushveld monitor. And what they've gone and done is buried the eggs under the stump, or in a hole in the stump. And this stump is full of termites. And termites generate heat, and heat is actually what incubates these eggs. So what's happened is the monitor lizard has buried the eggs inside the stump, which is full of termites. The termites themselves incubate the eggs unknowingly, because just by their day-to-day business, everything is warm. And the eggs then take a year to incubate and hatch, and then the babies dig themselves out. And we got all of that from this little egg case here. Quite interesting as we've been walking along. Let's carry on going. Catherine in Texas has just asked a nice question that I'm sure you're all wondering about. Firstly, I'd just like to say hello, Catherine. And the question is, do we ever come across poisonous snakes while we're walking in the bush? And the answer is yes, absolutely. You bump into poisonous snakes, not all the time. It's more common in summertime than in wintertime. Generally, though, Catherine, it's not something that I really concern myself over. You give snakes space, they'll give you space. I've never been hunted by a snake or stalked by a snake. And generally, they give you a warning. African snakes will either hiss at you or make a noise. Some of them can even rasp their scales together. They generally let you know that they're there. You give them some space, and you have a look at them. They carry on with their day, and you carry on with yours. So not too much of a problem out here. That being said, snakes are responsible for the most deaths in Africa, from large animals. And I'm not talking about malaria or sickness like, any of the waterborne sicknesses, but snakes definitely do kill a lot of people. But not something that I've concerned myself over. David in Chicago. Hi, David. Hope you're well. David in Chicago has asked if there's any edible fruits on the trees where we are. At this time of the year, David, the answer to that is no. There's no edible fruits this time of the year. Most of the edible fruits we start seeing most of the edible fruits from about September all the way through to about February, March. After that, everything basically goes into hibernation, into sleep, and we don't get any more edible fruits. But the fruits that are here, that are edible, are generally quite sweet. Marula is quite a sweet. Sour plum is now the exception I'm thinking about. But generally they're quite sweet. Good tasting fruit. Nothing bigger than about that. That's about the biggest fruit that you get. There are monkey oranges that are a little bit bigger, but I still can't identify properly which are the best tasting monkey oranges. To me, they all taste bitter and I don't enjoy them. Thanks for that question, David. Another termite down there. Right, we've missed that one. Just busy scanning for more termite mounds. We're still walking in generally the same direction that we saw the last tracks. I'm walking on a bit of a game path, but there's no tracks on this game path that I've seen. So now I'm just heading big trees, big termite mounds, in the direction that we last saw the tracks of that male leopard, and keeping my ears open for anything giving alarm calls, from squirrels through to birds, through to mammals like kudu. And there's a big termite mound. Let's go and see that one. It's a giant of a termite mound. And for those of you who were watching yesterday afternoon, you would have seen Mvula actually walking from termite mound to termite mound. Let's go and see what we can see. Got a big hole in this termite mound. Just going to say to Scott we're not going to stand directly in its way, but I will show you the hole. That's an excavation of some sort. Doesn't look like it's in use. I can't see any fresh tracks going in there. So what makes holes like this in the side of termite mounds? Aardvark or ant bear is generally what makes holes like this. They dig into termite mounds to eat the termites, and then the holes that they dig, foraging holes they dig, are then further excavated by warthog and by hyena and by a whole myriad of other animals. So they definitely are the builders of the home builders of the animal world. Everything else uses their holes and then excavates it further, renovates it at least. This one doesn't have anything in, but definitely is the type of place that a big male leopard in this area would like to come and visit. I've even watched some leopards lying on top of termite mounds the entire day waiting for warthog to come out. So our game plan is still solid. Go right ahead. Just heard on the radio that Pete has got something special for you that he's been looking for a while. So we're going to go back to Pete, and Scott and I are going to carry on with the walk, and we'll catch up in a little bit. Enjoy it.
Guys, welcome back this side. It's been quite a morning. We're just trying to find who's where doing what. We've been very lucky that a lot of it happened just in this area. There's another game drive vehicle, as you can see. That's Andrew from Cheetah Plains. And remember right in the beginning this morning, Stefan and Scott and Brent and Stefan that you were just on the walk with, they tracked and found a leopard, and we were very excited. Then we lost the leopard. They went into thick stuff. We later learned that it's because there were wild dogs around and the leopard was found again. So we're going to show you. We must just find a way in ourselves for now. I think this could work. They did find both, but Shadow has left subsequently. The mother has moved on. So we've just got the cub here, that young male that's going to get his Wild Earth name on Sunday during the fireside chat on Mother's Day. So great to see him. I think with a little bit of luck, we're going to have a beautiful view of him if he stays where he is. Oh, wow. Young leopard, stunning. Look at that. It's about as good as it gets. See the game drive vehicle in the back as well, also loving this. Beautiful. I think we're going to be spoiled. We're going to be left alone here. His mother caught up with him this morning. They moved the area or changed location from where they were earlier. She's probably going to leave him this area again. There's a little drainage line not too far. But he's also not a baby anymore. He's now about 7 months old, so we'll be moving around a bit and maybe practicing the sort of the early development of his hunting skills and what young animals are best at, just being curious and maybe having a bit of fun. But at the same time, he knows that he must stick around this area because Mum will find him again and she will take him to the food. Now, yesterday morning we found them very lucky on the remains of an impala kill. And I don't think she's made a kill during the night, otherwise she would have taken him there. So it means she's gone off hunting again. And we will try and follow this story again. Maybe the hunt happens today. It's nice and overcast. She could hunt into the day as well. Maybe tonight. But that's all in the future. For now, we are just very spoiled, sitting in the middle of the bush on a lovely cool morning here in South Africa with one of the most mystical and beautiful animals that you will ever see on an African safari. The leopard. And not just a leopard, a cub at that. How special is that? I wonder what he's thinking about. You get the sense that he's a little bit lost in thought at the moment. Hello, Bob. You're just asking if Shadow's been, or if this cub has been waiting here while Shadow was away early on. Let me just sort of put that into context again. When we found them this morning, when Stefan and them found Shadow to start with, she was on her own, and then luckily because we'd followed her yesterday and in the morning, I'd stayed with her until they settled down. We knew where the cub was, so we went straight there, and we were very lucky that we caught them there as they met up. So she collected the cub again to move area, possibly. At the time, I thought maybe to take him to food, but we've now learned that that wasn't the case. And then we were following them along, and then, again, we learned a little bit later, once we found the wild dogs, we realized that the wild dogs actually influenced them to turn their sort of direction they were heading in. Then they were found again, still together. So from this morning, sort of 6:30 or so when they met up, they were together until just recently, maybe 15 minutes ago. They've changed the area a little bit, not that far. We're 500-600 yards from where they, maybe a bit further than that, 800-900 yards from where they were early morning. And then she's left him here again, and she's now moved on again. Now, one of the game drives followed her for a bit, and then they couldn't keep up, but she has left. So basically, she's leaving him here so that she can go hunt or do what she needs to do. And then she will fetch him again, most likely this afternoon or early evening if she's successful. Possibly during the day, you never know. I mean, opportunity could be, fortune can smile on her and she maybe gets a hunt this morning even. Curious cat. we're just wondering, how does Shadow inform the cub that she wants to go hunt? In other words, how does she make that clear that she's going to be moving along? You know, I think there's various ways of doing it. I mean, they communicate with each other. It's like us humans, you know, they always say 80+%. I've read different statistics over the years, but 80%, 90%, 85, 95, anything in that region. But the majority of our communication is not actually just what we say. So much of our communication is how we say it, the tone in the voice, the movement of everything from your hands and your body to even just how you blink, and the little subtle messages that you send with facial expressions, things that we don't even consciously realize. Now that's us humans, and being humans, we should be able to understand each other better than we can understand, for instance, leopard or elephant. The point that I'm trying to get to, Renee, is that there's so much communication between a mother and a cub that I don't think we'll ever be able to understand 100%. That, you know, she could pass messages on to him in so many ways, just by the way the tail flicks or maybe sort of moves, or the body language, or a way she looks at him, the expression. You can imagine in a face like that, all those lines and stripes and spots. The expressiveness of that face is way beyond what we could understand. So there's lots of communication that I'm sure we don't necessarily register or see. Doesn't mean it's not there. And then at other times I've also seen it where they just move along with the cub, and then they're just suddenly gone. And the cub, almost as if instinctively, knows that it should stay around there then. I'm not going to say that I know the answer to that. I think it's a combination of many things. But what I do know, and what I can say, is that communication is such an interesting field. It's something that we're still learning about as humans. At the moment, I'm learning a lot about early development of humans, having a little boy at home and a girl, and my wife is a voracious reader, reads a lot of things about many things and in depth, and the learning curve of young animals, in this case humans, that we understand fairly well, being one ourselves. It is amazing what little kids can learn, you know, in their first weeks and first month and months of being a young human, or a young leopard for that matter. It is simply astounding. I mean, we're still learning about it ourselves, and we're relatively well developed now scientifically. So I don't think we can even begin to imagine the communication and the learning curve between mother leopard and cub. But I'm sure it is just as intricate and just as amazing and just as special as the learning curve between babies and their human parents. That is. Hello, Jennifer. I like the rhythm and the rhyme of where you're from. Jennifer is from St. Louis, Missouri. Very valid question. One showing both understanding and concern as well with these animals. Just wondering, is this leopard big enough or smart enough or experienced enough now to know what to do if other predators came along? That wild dog pack that we saw this morning, that were literally 40 or 50 yards from where the leopards took their turn into the bush, they are still close by. They could be running through here any minute. The hyena clan, as we know, not far away from here. But this cub by now should be pretty safe. 7 months old. He's big enough now, smart enough now, strong enough, quick enough, balanced enough to be able to avoid predators like that. Now, he's not right next to a big tree where we are now, but even just the sort of medium-sized trees around us here, he would be able to climb and scamper up that if need be. His first prize, obviously, being so well camouflaged, would be to try and avoid being detected by other predators. But should that happen, he'd be up in a tree in a flash. So again, you never know what could happen, but he's you know, every day that he's getting bigger now, he's getting safer and safer from other predators, both because he's getting more experienced, so he knows how to handle himself better, but also because he's just getting quicker and faster and stronger and all of those things. I think this guy's got a very good chance of being Shadow's first successfully reared cub into adulthood. General sort of mixed bushveld setting here. I was just looking next to me, Brian, I don't know if you can see this. I might have to pick the leaf, but if you can see it, I'd prefer not to move it. Can you see that, or is that just over the edge? Oh, great, we can see it. Look there on the leaf. This is from a large fruited bush willow, one of the combretums. And apart from the hole in it, which I'm sure you noticed, but look at the water on there. This is still from the, you could almost go as far as calling it heavy dew, but it was light rain early this morning around 4 o'clock our time. It just a soft drizzle, actually it was a bit later, maybe closer to 4:30, something like that. Just enough to have sort of moistened the dust again, make the smells nice and fresh, and lots of little bits of water around like this. Nothing enough for animals to drink from, but certainly for little insects and birds and things like that. All life appreciates water. That we know. Well, it's just while we're sitting with the lazy leopard, worst things to do. But just thinking forward to this weekend. We're really looking forward to this weekend. We've got 2 exciting drives coming up, Friday and Saturday. Saturday and Sunday. Today would be Friday already. But Saturday and Sunday, got a vehicle going past the back here if you hear some noise. Saturday and Sunday we've got the drives. They'll be slightly different. The leopard having a look as well. Slightly different from the normal ones in that they will be 2.5 hours long, the game drive, and half an hour fireside chat right at the end of it, from 5:30 to 6. Now, I'm looking forward to that immensely. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a busy fireside chat with lots of things happening, great things for you to see as well. Do make sure you don't miss it. It's going to be stunning. HT and myself and Stefan looking forward to it. Everyone actually looking forward to it. So don't miss it. We're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to look at a few things. It's going to be fun. We're going to sort of give our thoughts on a certain few things, which will be interesting as well. There's going to be the reveal of this guy's name. We've had lots of options coming in. We don't know which one we're going to choose yet. You can still send ones in as well. On Sunday, we're going to give him his Wild Earth name. And you can take part in this as well. But because it's going to be so quick with so many things happening, we want to make sure that we pick a few of those questions beforehand. It's not going to be questions that are going to be answered. It's not going to be, what does an elephant weigh? And we're going to say, 10 pounds. It's more just a discussion, sort of a general talk around certain concepts or ideas. And we'd love to get your questions from that or for that. Please, with the questions, when you send them in, hashtag SafariLIVE for a tweet. Maybe for this, it's even better if you email it in. Mail it to questions@wildearth.tv. Please remember to add into the question your name, where you're from. Maybe even give us an idea if you've been coming on many game drives or maybe just a few. But the questions, you can really go into something sort of a bit more in depth. As I said, we're not looking for a question that's going to have a straightforward answer. We're not going to ask, what is 5 plus 5? And we're going to say it's 10 and that's done. We're looking more at like a sort of a mathematical equation. What is the relative possibility of mass that would be interesting math sum for that question, if you know what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is feel free to ask questions that you would like to get an understanding or an explanation or a conversation from. One of the things that came up, and it's actually a question that came up amongst ourselves, so if someone hasn't asked it, maybe this is your opportunity to grab it and get your question on the fireside chat. But we were wondering, and it's a simple enough thing, but once we started talking about it, we actually realized there's a lot more to it. We were wondering, for instance, when Karula lost that cub. Now, Karula has been an extremely successful leopard at raising cubs. And she's got a percentage of raising cubs which is well high above the average success rate. And we were wondering the other day why she didn't make more of an effort, perhaps, to defend the cubs against the hyenas when they took that cub. And once we discussed it, we thought that could actually be one of the great questions. So if you haven't sent one in, you could maybe grab that one. And then also just general questions relating to the interspecies competition of the apex predators. Now let me break that sentence down a bit. The interspecies competition would be between different species, mainly or often hyenas in this case because they are in this area, but them with wild dogs, them with leopard, them with lion, and vice versa, leopard with lion, leopard with dogs, etc. We just had that question earlier from, when you asked what would happen if those predators came through here. So any questions around that, conceptual questions would be great. We are also going to talk about motherhood, wild parenting, mother nature, animals rearing their young, and maybe also the relationship of young towards their mothers on Sunday, because Sunday is Mother's Day after all, and I have said this. One thing we all have in common is we all have a mother, otherwise we wouldn't be here. So we can certainly relate to that. And many of you are mothers, many of you are grandmothers, maybe even a few great-grandmothers here. And the older you get, the wiser you get, the better you understand how these things are all connected. So any questions or thoughts or theories around wild parenting, the relationship of mother, parent even, and young and vice versa, please send those in as well. Guys, we are looking for multiple questions. We're not just going to have one question. We're looking for at least sort of 3 or 4 questions, and then depending on how long the discussion goes, we'll get to a few of them during the time we're going to be doing that. The other thing that I thought was a great one, and we saw the beginning of it. Actually, Brian and myself just earlier on the drive were talking about it again, and then the great part of it was with Hayden on drive, and that's the wild dogs. I think it was as I said, my days blur a bit into each other, but the second or third day or so earlier on, we had the great surprise in the morning where we found the hyenas chasing the wild dogs, and then later on the reverse of that, and beautiful visuals. I know that's a question that might have popped up for a few people. In other words, what determines, or how does it work that some animals are more dominant than other animals amongst your apex predators, amongst your sort of big 5 or big 4 of the predators in this case, in our area, which would be lion, leopard, the 2 big cats, wild dog, and hyena. And what determines who's dominant over who? How does that work? Anyway, those are the type of questions. Anything you can think of. That's why we're asking you is, so often I've experienced personally that I gain new understandings or new insights into what I'm experiencing around me, that I suddenly get a new door opened or a new window opened into nature for my own understanding by getting great questions from you guys. And that's the beauty of conversation. That's the beauty, one of the beauties at least of being human, is that we can conceptualize ideas, ask the question, make the comment, have a conversation, and at the end of it, all parties could have gained something in that conversation. And I'm looking forward to that experience around the fire with Hayden, Stefan, both great guys with great information, with great experience, even more importantly, and with great understanding of what we're doing here and how we fit into this bigger picture of what is spectacular wild nature around us. And the only thing missing in that one, as I said, I'm looking forward to talking to Hayden and Stefan, is we're looking for great questions from you guys, because you're going to be part of that conversation. In fact, you're going to determine some of that conversation by sending us questions. So please help us. we are still looking for more, and it's going to be great. So don't miss it. Saturday, 5:30 our time. It would be 11:30 Eastern time or 8:30 Western time. For the last half an hour of the drive, it's going to be a very fun, very enjoyable fireside chat. I'm excited. Don't miss it. It will also be put out there for you. We'll make sure that you know when it is and what it is. So, yeah, I think I made my point there. This leopard is nice and relaxed. He's got the day to wait for Mum. No rush. Well, what a way to end the drive. A couple of minutes left, and this leopard seems to be very happy, very comfortable. I mean, that's the sort of equivalent of a lazy boy, I guess, for a leopard. Looks a bit like you earlier up in the tree. Susan. Hello, Susan. Hoe gaan dit? Hoop het gaan goed. Susan's from Holland, so she would have understood some of what I just said. Afrikaans is not too different from Dutch. Susan's just wondering about the ears of the leopard. Are the spots on the ears unique to them as well? And I would go as far as to say that every spot on every leopard would be unique to that leopard. Because, I mean, for one spot to be in context, you'd have to compare it to another spot next to it. And there's not going to be one leopard in the world that has exactly the same spots as another leopard. You know, it's just too unlikely. It's a bit like fingerprints. It's I used to always think that, you talk about this unique patterns on leopard, or that zebra, for instance. We saw some zebra tracks this morning. That zebras all have unique stripes. Now, we're about 7 billion people and counting, and we've got unique fingerprints. What's he seeing? Maybe just stretching. Okay, we're going to get a little bit of a walking around. Where's he going now? Find a new spot. Maybe he's going to go closer to a bigger tree, find a better place to hide. Fantastic. For the last little bit of the drive, we're going to see him active. Just right there next to us. How brilliant is that? Where are you going? He's not stalking, but he does look a little bit curious. I think he's just heading over somewhere better to wait for the rest of the day. While he's busy going into the bush there, we are going to stay here a few minutes longer after we say goodbye, just to see where he ends up, so that we can try and find him again this afternoon. HT would love to see this guy as well. But for now, from myself, Peter Pretorius, thank you so much for joining us. It was a lovely morning, lots of excitement. Brian,
thanks,
great on camera, guys. Everyone that's part of this team, it's awesome. See you this afternoon.